Figure Force is the codename of 4 daring, middle-aged, highly obsessed toy vloggers. Its purpose? To bring toy reviews and nostalgia to YouTube and Instagram. Video sharing websites that allow users to upload, view, share and comment. Hi, I'm Rudy Zissou. And may the Figure Force be with you. As it's May the 4th, I figured I'd grab a couple of Star Wars toys off the shelf and take a look at them. First up, from the multimedia experience from the 90s, Shadows of the Empire. And we have Snoova. Snoova is Chewbacca in a bounty hunter disguise. I absolutely love Shadows of the Empire. It's my favourite element of Star Wars. Of everything that has come and gone, Shadows of the Empire has always been incredibly enthralling for me. From the figures, to the computer game, to the comic, to the toys, to the vehicles, there is so much fun and interest to be had with Shadows of the Empire, and Snoova is by far one of my favourite characters. The Power of the Force 2 line definitely had some hits and misses. It went all overly muscular, and Han and Luke they didn't come off that well, and neither did Chewbacca, to be honest. But once they got the Shadows of the Empire treatment, I think that muscular element really works for his character. I've never been a Chewbacca fan at all from the movies, but when he became a bounty hunter and he got given a flat top and dyed fur and armour, he suddenly came alive for me. And the thing with the Power of the Force 2 figures, even through their faults, the detailing is absolutely stunning. The paint apps and the moulded detail on the armour is just absolutely incredible, and it goes all the way around. Even the detail on his eye patch and his face, he's got much more aggressive feel to him, which he should do the way he is, in the comic and in the story. And he gets one hell of a giant weapon. You just don't see weapons that formidable in Star Wars. And he also comes with a vibro axe, which he can grab and have in his other hand. I've got a thing about dual weaponed characters. I think my favourite Luke is always going to be Empire Luke, when he's got the blaster and the lightsaber, and the same with, when you go to Star Wars Rebels, getting that whole blaster and lightsaber effect, it's something that I really enjoy in Star Wars, and Snoova just absolutely pulls it off. It's Power of the Force 2, so there's no articulation, literally arms and legs move up and down. That's about it. Chewbacca was always a stiff kind of figure, so there's not much posability to be had, but it doesn't exactly need it because it relies so heavily on the aesthetic, and for me it is an absolute standout from Shadows of the Empire. Snoova. Figure Force will return after these messages. We now return to Figure Force. And next, bringing it up into modern day collecting with the Black Series, we have the Scarif Stormtrooper. Again, just like Shadows of the Empire, Rogue One is one of my favourite movies out of all the Star Wars things that have come and gone. I absolutely adored that movie. It felt incredibly like Star Wars, just like the original trilogy. It's not that I dislike the prequels and what's just come with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker and The Force Awakens, they just didn't feel overly Star Wars. They didn't feel like the lived-in environment I like about Star Wars. But Rogue One certainly did, and I think the planet of Scarif was an incredible design choice. It did give that war feel to it, storming the beaches, and with that it obviously gave us a different take on the Stormtrooper. There's only so many white Stormtroopers you can have in your collection, and I love the design aesthetic of the Scarif Stormtrooper or the Shore Trooper. And then again you get modern day engineering, so there is a hell of a lot more articulation and you can get much more dynamic poses. And with this figure you just get so much weathering, and it's dirty, you know, the plastic is cream, it's off-white, there's little bits of dirt and scuff marks all over his armour, and it just does feel like lived in, and it's a great choice to have in the collection, especially for someone who's a bit more of a casual Star Wars collector. I'm in no rush to kind of get some of the main characters. I'd love to get a set of the Bounty Hunters. That's a big Black Series wish list, because that's some of my favourite parts as well. When I'm thinking about Empire Strikes Back, that scene when you get to see the whole slew of the Bounty Hunters from Bosk to Dengar, the man himself, Boba Fett. So at some point I'd love to get those in the collection, but to have something a bit more unique to Star Wars, no, I've gone for the Scarif Trooper. Part of me would like actually the Tantive 4 Rebel Trooper as an accompany piece for this figure to live on the shelf. So that choice has been the Scarif Stormtrooper. Figure Force will return after these messages. We now return to Figure Force. And finally we have Darth Vader's TIE Fighter from A New Hope. As a kid, I always loved Vader's TIE Fighter. I like that it was a bit more angled with the wings, and it had light speed capability. And I always figured it was just a bit more manoeuvrable, the standard TIE Fighter. And this toy just has the absolute pew pew factor. Pew 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 pew. It's a stunning toy for sure. It's a real pick up and play piece. You know, it just fits in your hand nicely. But the keyed eye amongst you might have noticed that it's not actually a model. If I flip it around, you can see parts of Vader's chest. This is the 2012 Transformers Star Wars crossover. So inside this alt mode is the Dark Lord of the Sith himself. I'm not exactly one for crossovers, but there is something kind of cute, I guess, about it. It hasn't got the most engineered transformation. It's all right, but there's a couple of aesthetic choices that are fun when it, you know, making it a transformer. The wings can be attached onto the back to give him a cape. As you can see, he's a bit kind of wibbly wobbly, and he's got articulation in the arms, so you can actually give him the force choke stance. and the other wing can form a shield. But aesthetically, it's still Vader, and it's, you know, it is kind of fun piece to have. As I said, I'm not exactly one for crossovers. I enjoyed the Battle of the Planets Thundercats comic, and I'm yet to see Ectotron in the flesh, but I know the alt mode is pretty spot on for Ecto 1, and the packaging really pays homage to G1. Whether it works as a robot from the pictures, I don't know if I need crossovers in my life, but they can be quite fun. So that has been Hasbro's Transformers crossover Star Wars Darth Vader. Just a few bits from my Star Wars collection that I have in the Science Fantasy experience. As the coronavirus continues, we just need to keep following the guidelines. Stay home, stay safe, stay strong. As long as we know this, lives will be saved. And knowing is half the battle.